In a baffling and troubling turn of events, the corporate media, once a bastion of accountability, appears to have capitulated to Donald Trump, a man whose contentious relationship with the press has been a defining feature of his political career. The most glaring recent example is ABC's decision to settle a defamation lawsuit brought by Trump, despite many legal experts believing the network had a strong case. This settlement has sparked outrage, particularly among independent media outlets, as it seems to signal a broader pattern of submission by major news organizations. Why would a powerful entity like ABC, with vast resources at its disposal, choose to back down? And more importantly, what does this signify for the future of journalism in America? This unsettling development raises a host of questions about the current state of media. Are corporate outlets still committed to their role as the fourth estate, holding the powerful accountable? Or are they prioritizing financial and reputational risk management over truth and transparency? In a time when late-night comedians and independent media seem to be filling the void left by traditional outlets, we are left to ponder a grim possibility. Is this the death of honest journalism? 1. The ABC lawsuit, a cautionary tale. ABC's recent decision to settle Donald Trump's defamation lawsuit has drawn widespread criticism and highlighted a larger problem in the corporate media landscape. The case, which centered on Trump's claims of defamation by the network, was widely considered to be winnable for ABC. Legal experts and analysts pointed out that Trump's long history of aggressive litigation rarely results in actual courtroom victories. Despite this, ABC chose to settle, a move that critics argue reflects more than just legal caution. By settling, ABC may have sought to avoid prolonged legal battles and bad press. However, the implications of this decision extend far beyond the immediate case. Settling sends a clear message. Major media outlets are unwilling to stand firm against Trump's tactics, even when the facts and law are on their side. This not only undermines public trust in corporate media, but also emboldens Trump and others to use similar strategies to silence dissent and critique. 2. The broader pattern of submission. ABC's capitulation is not an isolated incident. It's part of a troubling trend. Over the years, other major media organizations and platforms have also shown signs of pulling their punches when it comes to Trump. Consider the following examples. The Washington Post, once renowned for its fearless investigative reporting, has faced accusations of softening its stance on Trump, particularly during his post-presidency period. MSNBC, which built much of its audience by scrutinizing Trump, has been criticized for scaling back its hard-hitting coverage. Facebook, though not a traditional media outlet, plays a critical role in shaping public discourse. Its founder, Mark Zuckerberg, famously donated $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund, raising questions about the platform's neutrality. These examples reveal a disturbing reality. The corporate media and tech giants are increasingly prioritizing neutrality, access, and profits over their journalistic duty to challenge power. This dynamic is particularly alarming given Trump's well-documented hostility toward the press, which he has repeatedly labeled as enemies of the people. 3. The rise of late-night commentary. In the absence of fearless journalism from traditional outlets, an unlikely group of commentators has emerged to fill the void: late-night talk show hosts. Figures like Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, and Stephen Colbert have become critical voices, using humor and satire to highlight Trump's contradictions, hypocrisies, and outright falsehoods. Take, for example, Seth Meyers' recent segment on Trump's Wall Street bell-ringing ceremony. Meyers mocked the former president for celebrating his Time Person of the Year award and pointed out the stark hypocrisy of Trump, a self-proclaimed champion of the working class, rubbing elbows with financial elites. It's like a make-a-wish kid who faked being sick until he got what he wanted, Meyers quipped, cutting through Trump's populist facade with biting humor. Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert have also taken up the mantle of combining comedy with critique. Kimmel's sardonic commentary on Trump's Time cover and Colbert's sharp observations about Trump's foreign policy missteps provide viewers with much-needed perspective, all while making them laugh. In a media landscape increasingly wary of confronting power, these comedians have become unlikely torchbearers of truth. 4. Independent media. The last bastion? While late-night comedy provides a mix of entertainment and insight, independent media outlets have stepped up to deliver substantive, hard-hitting journalism. Platforms like the Young Turks, Democracy Now!, and a plethora of YouTube channels have consistently offered critical perspectives on Trump and his policies. Unlike corporate media, independent outlets are not beholden to advertisers or shareholders, giving them greater freedom to tackle controversial topics. Their rise reflects a growing demand for authentic, unfiltered news. However, this shift also comes with challenges. Independent media often lacks the resources and reach of traditional outlets, and the proliferation of partisan platforms makes it harder for audiences to discern credible information from propaganda. 5. The erosion of trust and accountability. The corporate media's retreat from accountability journalism has profound implications. First and foremost, it erodes public trust in the press. When major outlets prioritize risk avoidance over truth-telling, they fail in their role as watchdogs of democracy. This erosion of trust creates a vacuum that is often filled by misinformation and conspiracy theories, further polarizing an already divided society. Additionally, the media's reluctance to challenge Trump emboldens him and other political figures to operate with impunity. If journalists are unwilling to call out falsehoods and corruption, who will? This dynamic not only weakens the press, but also undermines the democratic principles it is meant to uphold. 6. The high stakes of media integrity. The stakes could not be higher. In an era of unprecedented political polarization and disinformation, the need for fearless journalism is greater than ever. Yet the corporate media's apparent submission to Trump's influence suggests that profit motives and access are taking precedence over journalistic integrity. This trend is not only dangerous for the media but for democracy itself. The corporate media's surrender to Donald Trump represents a crisis of journalistic integrity. By settling lawsuits, tempering critiques, and prioritizing profits over principles, major outlets are failing the public they are supposed to serve. This abdication of responsibility leaves a void that independent media and late-night comedians are struggling to fill. While their efforts are commendable, they are no substitute for a robust, fearless fourth estate. As consumers of news, we must demand more from our media. We must support independent outlets, hold corporate media accountable, and remain vigilant against attempts to undermine journalistic integrity. The survival of honest journalism depends on our collective willingness to stand up for the truth, no matter how inconvenient or uncomfortable it may be. In the end, the battle for honest journalism is not just about Donald Trump or any one individual. It is about the fundamental principles of accountability, transparency, and democracy. And it is a battle we cannot afford to lose.